Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the REDX Podcast. I'm so glad that you're here. If you are a regular listener of the REDX Podcast, you know Brendan Bartic. Welcome back, Brendan. We are so excited to have you.
Thanks for having me, Haley. Yeah, I love coming on the REDX Podcast, and especially the REDX members, because they get me, and I've lived it. I do it. I understand how they operate, and so it's always fun when I get on and hopefully share some knowledge.
I love it. And you're back to do the same thing. And I'm excited about today's topic. Before we get into that, though, if people are seeing you for the first time, could you just give us a quick intro, who you are, what you do, all that stuff?
Absolutely. So Brendan Bartic, I've been everything from a real estate assistant to a buyer's agent to a listing agent to an individual agent to an agent on a team. But throughout the course of my career, what I guess I'm most proud of is for about 15 years, I sold 130 listings myself as an individual, year after year, over and over, utilizing REDX and utilizing, well, first, there wasn't a REDX when I first started, so we were doing it manually. And then when REDX came out, it made my life 1,000% easier. But doing it manually and really understanding the art of lead generation, the art of power of listings, and then evolving that over time. And so last year, my real estate team did 6.6 million in gross commission income. We closed just about 420 some odd homes. And that evolution, that's all fine and dandy. But what I get to do now is help agents across the country do the same thing with our Listing Beast program. And now I have a program called Listing Beast, and it's a certification program to become one of the elite real estate listing agents in the country. That's what I do now.
I love it. Brendan, every time you come on the podcast, that's why we keep bringing you back, as you share such great tactical advice that agents can take immediately and implement into their business. And so I'm excited, of course, to get into what we're talking about today. I know in all the podcasts that we've done a lot with you. We've talked a lot about like expireds, for sale by owners, like how to get appointments, but I don't know if we've really covered the actual appointment and getting into the presentation. And I think that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm excited. Like, tell me, like, where do we start here? If we're calling expireds for sale by owners, assuming people have REDX, they're prospecting, they're actively trying to find business. Yeah, let's start there.
I love it. And Haley, here's the kind of hidden truth is real estate agents will spend 30 hours a week trying to do lead generation to set an appointment. And what they haven't realized is that if they would have started in the first place creating a product or a program to sell, not themselves, not their personal resume, that it makes it so much easier to lead gen, and not only lead gen, but actually attract sellers to you. So I know we were chatting earlier, and I try to help people understand this concept. If you are selling any product in real estate, people think the product is themselves. They think
Right.
If I'm a realtor, so I'm selling me, Brendan, as a realtor. And that's not the case. When you really think about it, you're selling a packaged group of services to a seller to help solve their problems.
Mm-hmm.
So, Haley, the first thing I want everyone to think about is if we don't start with the right product to sell, you can get on the phones until your ears bleed or door knock until your knuckles are raw, and you're not going to really get there, because you will. I mean, you'll make money, but until you realize, just like if I was coming out, you've watched Shark Tank, right? You've seen the show Shark Tank, right? I always tell people, I go, if you were presenting your listing package to the sharks, your listing program, would they invest $1 million with you to invest in your listing program?
Mm.
And if you go, well, no, they'd be investing in me. And you can already hear Mr. Wonderful going, okay, I'm going to give you $1 million because of you. No, they want the product that's strategic. They want the innovation that's in there. They want the bells and whistles that you're going, I still do the same thing, but my how many times have we seen on Shark Tank, they're selling some variation of a dog toy or dog food or baby something, right? It's like, you can't reinvent these things too much, but they're going, I see how you solved a problem in there that maybe we weren't really taking a look at. Mm-hmm. So what I want people to think about is going, you first need to make sure that you're designing your program or your product and packaging it correctly, so you have something to get on the phone, get on social media, get on YouTube, whatever the platform that you're going to utilize to lead gen, and you have something great to sell. And so The first part of doing that is, even for the listeners, if you take a piece of paper or a whiteboard, I always go break this down into 3 rows. And we know from all the Redfin and Zillow surveys and all the surveys, National Realtor Association surveys, sellers want 3 things, Haley. They want to sell for the most money possible in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of headache. Right. So if you have those 3 columns, you have to start designing your program to go, what do I do in my program to sell it in the least, sell it for the most money possible? And right there, agents get stuck. They go, you know what? Well, I do twilight photos, right? Or I do this. I'm not saying that's the wrong thing, but we really got to dive deeper and go, what causes a home to sell for the most money possible? And when we analyze this, we know there's several key components. You have to create a sense of urgency. See, Haley, most people, when they list a home, they go, I go do this great presentation. I put you on the market on a Thursday, and then I hope and pray that people schedule a showing. And if no one does, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to host an open house on Sunday to let random people that can't qualify to buy this house come through and see the home. So maybe I'll get a buyer out of it. Mm. So that's a weird strategy if you hear it like that, right? If you really, right. If we're talking to Mark Cuban, he's going to be like, wait, so that's your strategy to sell homes is list, take pictures, hope and pray. When people don't come, let strangers from the street in that aren't qualified to buy the house. So that's what we have to think through first is going, we've got to understand that we've got to create a powerful pricing strategy, and price is affected by creating a frenzy and then funneling people through in a very specific amount of time. And we've studied this. They do this a lot in Australia, which is kind of interesting to think about. We studied a lot of this from how they sell houses in Australia, and people go, oh, it's kind of like an auction. No, it's creating the anticipation that everybody's going to come see this house at the same time in a 1-hour window. And when you funnel them all through there, and there's fear of loss because they see a line of people trying to see this house at the same time, they feel like they're going to miss out if they don't make an offer. Compared to one-off showings where if I list a home on a Thursday and you, Haley, want to go take a look at it on Saturday, you set your little showing, your buyer agent sets it for you. They go and show it to you. There's no one there, right? It's just you and the house. And you go, okay, you kind of pick it apart. You go, this house has got some nicks and dings and the roof looks old and all of this. Let's go look at 6 more. You go look at 6 more. You leave that house. You don't feel like anyone cares about it being really hot. So you go, well, if it's there when we get back and see the other ones, maybe we'll be interested. So in our program, we really try to help agents understand that we've got to change the strategy so you have something unique to talk about when you're lead genning and when you're marketing yourself online. So that first one is price. The second one is time on market. We know that agents struggle with, or sellers hate having this to take a long time because when it does, they're inconvenienced, right? I got to get out of the house. I got 6 Great Danes, 9 kids. I don't want to leave my house every hour on the hour to have these one-off showings. So time becomes a big factor in wanting to get this done quicker. So I want everyone that's listening to think about that weekend that you hit the market as a launch weekend. This is like if we were launching a blockbuster movie, I always try to explain, right? Like if you ever, they're like rolling out the red carpet, we're going to have everybody come through, but you don't have an opening movie weekend every weekend, right? If they were like, oh, the coolest movie just came out on Saturday, and then it's also still coming out next Saturday and the next Saturday, it doesn't work that way. So I'm going to talk about how we're going to package this in just a second. And then the third, Haley, if you were my seller, just let me ask you this. What if, and I know you have one daughter right now, one, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine how annoying it is, and you work, and you're a super, you do all this other stuff, right? It's like, so think about if you had to sell your house tomorrow, what would annoy the snot out of you? Give me a couple of things.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I also have 2 dogs. So, having people, if people are coming into my house right now, I'd have to pack up my kid, my dogs, go out, leave the house, come back. I'd have to clean everything when I'm already trying to take care of a baby. And
is your home completely decluttered and ready to be shown regardless?
No, I have a baby, Brendan. I'm like,
right. Yeah. Yeah. So when we look at this, and the list could go on and on of going, there's hassle in selling. It's not like buying where it's kind of fun to go out and look at houses and maybe you buy
Right.
one, maybe you don't. Selling is just because you're selling because you're wanting to get the money to do something else, right? Like unless you're a fix and flipper or a wholesaler or something like that. So we got to think about in our package, when we're looking at those three columns, how do I remove the headache for the seller? Do I do ABC do I offer home cleaning to make sure that they have a home cleaning service? Do I offer a home warranty so they don't have to worry about so many costly inspection items? Like we talked about in our program, we do where we have no open houses, no one-off showings, and we do a funnel system to get everybody through in 1 hour. So when you list with me, Haley, the only thing I'm going to ask you to do is when we do our launch weekend, I need you to be out of the house for 1 hour. And I'll have you under contract in that weekend, right? That's nice, right?
Yes.
Right? Instead of sitting there and being like, so when we have showings, it usually takes 7 to 8 showings till we usually get an offer, Haley. So that's going to be 7 to 8 hours that you're going to have to get out of your house. Do you want to be the first point of contact for those? And does it matter do we have to work around your nap time? And you are going to make sure it's clean before I bring buyers through there, right? Because, right now it's a little, no, I'm just joking, right? Right. But, right. Like, you see what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think as agents, we get very accustomed to coming into this business and going, you know what I'm supposed to do? Well, first of all, we're going back to the prospecting thing. You come into this business and they go, get on the phones, crush it. You get a dialer, you get some data, and you're going to be able to go to town. And you will, if you have a great amount of charisma and you're very good at what you do.
Right.
I could take the most introverted, reserved, and I don't want to say non-talented, but I would say very not charismatic agent on earth. And when I say that, again, presenting, you can sometimes win with people just because you're just a great presenter.
Right.
I have people in our program that aren't great presenters. They are really good, smart business people. And if I can give them a product to sell, they can go in and go, here's the strategy, here's the program, here's what we do. And they don't have to worry about that, a level of charisma and that amount of energy that they have to bring to make you convinced that you should list with me.
Right.
So what it does is, like when I was saying before, is agents come into this business and they start hitting the phones. Well, then they do set an appointment. So now you go on the appointment because you had the right scripts and dialogues, you go on the appointment. And then you don't get the listing, right? Or you get the listing and you discount your compensation, which I'm going to talk about here in a moment.
Yeah.
We've found that the national survey, agents are getting on average 2.42%, and we're allowed to talk about this, on the list side compensation. Because when you think about list side, you can charge whatever you want if you're giving the seller the value that they need.
Right.
It's harder to do that on the buy side, right? On the buy side, it's very challenging to do that because either I have to get the money from my buyer, or I have to get the money from the seller and my buyer, or I'm just hoping that somebody's going to pay me, which is just a hard way to live. So we know listings are the king of the castle here, or queen of the castle, either one. So when we're able to make sure that we have a package to sell, that agent can now get on the phone and sell that product to whoever they're talking to on the phone. They can get on social media and market to it. And I'll give you some examples of this from people in our program. We have a program called Sold in 65. We sell Colorado's most innovative home selling program. We sell your home in 65 hours with no open houses, no one-off showings, for above asking price. I just need 15 minutes of your time to come by and explain how this program works. So think about that script. Now think about the secondary script. Hi, this is Brendan. I saw your home came off the market yesterday. Are you still interested in selling it? They go, yeah, kind of. Well, can I ask you a couple more questions? You go through your script. Well, I'm great, and I'd love to come over and sell your house. And then the first thing they're probably going to do is go, well, have you ever sold a home in my neighborhood? Mm-hmm. Well, we've sold homes in your area for sure. Well, how long have you been in real estate? Well, I've been in real estate for about, a year and a half, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it is. And they start tricking you on all these, not tricking you, they start triggering you on all of these questions, because think about it. You're selling yourself. You couldn't have possibly sold in every neighborhood. It's physically impossible. Mm-hmm. You couldn't, except for very few people that are listening to this, you don't sell 700 homes a year, right? And then we start going in this gray area where it's like my team sold and I sold and we're number one in this category and we're number two in this category. And I see agents' signature lines and they're like, I'm in the top 14% in Northern Idaho. Dope, right? Good for you. You really nailed it. That's where we got to take a breath and go, why don't I have a product to sell, a program that solves the seller's problems? And if I solve their problems, and I'm not just saying the one I gave an example of is the only way to do it. We have people that do very innovative things and call it very innovative things. And I put it through a test in our program. I go, if I was driving by on the main street in your town and there was a billboard and you were selling your listing services, what would it say on that billboard? And they always pause and they go, Jack is good at communicating and is always there to take your call.
Amazing.
Right? And I'm like, you're going 60 miles an hour. I'm like, Jack, so this is where naming in a product becomes very important. You have to take the most kind of simple things and make them sound really cool. Do I think sold in 65 sounds cool? It's not the coolest thing I've ever heard, but think about the title of it. Sold, which makes me think as a seller, that's what I want. 65, because we do it in 65 hours. 65 hours, 24 hours on Saturday, 24 hours on Sunday, and by Monday at 5 p.m. you have multiple offers. That's the 65 hours in it. But you could call it 24 cells. I mean, I'm not trying to give any ideas here, but I'm going, you've got to get it simple enough that you could see it on a bumper sticker, right? That you could see it on a billboard, that you could package it on a top of a shoebox. And you can't do that because agents are going, but I want them to believe in me. I want them to invest in me. Well, here's the challenge. When I invest in you and just you alone, I have to decide if I like you, not your product. Think about the stress you relieve from yourself when you're selling a product, right? You can go all in and be like, our strategy does this. It's proven. We've done this. We have that. We have this. Your pain points are this. We do all that. It just takes it so much off of you, because then even if they say no, then they go, they didn't get my strategy. And that's not the case. Really, you didn't deliver it correctly because you didn't practice enough. But they go, they just didn't get my strategy. Agents get destroyed when they go, they didn't list with me and they listed with Sally. What does Sally have that I don't have? You know what I mean? And we get into this, and then you see agents shy away from taking listings because that rejection hurts their soul so much.
Yeah.
So sell a program, sell a product. Don't sell your resume, your person, your team. When you figure that piece out, and it's not as hard as people think. We just gave you 3 boxes to try to fill in. I mean, I'm not saying it's easy. Nothing is easy when you're trying to do something at a high level. If you want to sell 10 houses a year, keep selling yourself. You'll be fine. If you want to sell 50, 70, 100, 200, 500, you better think this through. And a perfect example of this, Haley, is there's people that do programs called like Fix and Sell, right? So, if you saw it on a billboard, if you list with us, we'll fix up your house for you and we'll make sure it's in immaculate condition to sell it. That's still a program. That's a type of program, a fix and sell program, or if they call them fix and list, sold in 60 days, or I'll buy your home. Those are programs. What I'm trying to get to is going, you can still have a universal program for 99% of sellers. You just got to figure out the packaging. Right. That's the key piece. And to start that process, what I want everyone to think about is always start with the problems you're solving. Right. I always tell people we get paid at the level of problems we solve. I just talked to an amazing, talented agent that's fantastic, and her target client is families that have more than 4 kids. Right. You have 1, right? And you can imagine how much stress that is and how much work that is. She works with people that have 4 or more that are living in the home. And so she's customized her entire strategy and program around what problems does she have to solve for that type. And the reason she did it is because she has 9 kids of her own that all were from her, not a marriage, and she's selling 150 homes a year, has 9 kids. The youngest one is 3. So for everyone that's listening going, I've got excuses, right? She's got 9 kids. The youngest one is 3, all from her, not like a mixed joint Brady Bunch situation. So when I think and I hear these stories, I go, she knows what her package is. We've helped her, talk through a lot of those pieces. She knows what she's doing, and she's framed and knows who her client is. And she knows, Not that it wouldn't work for other people, but she's not worried about if there's enough. Do we all believe that there's enough families that have 4 or more kids to be a pretty substantial market?
Yeah.
Now I'm just packaging it for you. It'd be like, Haley, if you were selling shampoo to me, right? It ain't gonna do me much good, right? It ain't gonna help me. It's gonna help you, right? But if you were selling razors to me, it's a totally different thing. And I go, I could use your razors. That makes a lot of sense to me. For those that are listening on the podcast, I have no hair, right? They're probably going, what is he talking about with shampoo, right? So we've got to also think about what problems does the clients that I want to help have? How do I create an innovative way of doing the listing service that services their problems? And then number 3, then just provide an exceptional experience along the way. Like this isn't just trickery and strategy. It's going, if we have statistics that show that when you sell in the first weekend, you sell at or above list price. Here's the crazy stats, Haley. For every week you're on the market, and this is nationwide, and I can teach people how to do this for their own exact county or zip code. For every week you're on the market, it drops by 2 to 3% of what the seller will receive on average from original list price to final sales price. So let me put that into context. If I list it at $1 million in the first week, if I'm not sold, on average, I'm going to get 3% of my list price if I get past a week. Then it goes down another 2, then another 3. And when I say this, because it's kind of like in percentage, it's like 2.69, and then it drops another. So when you get to like the 6th, 7th, 10th week, you're down 15% on average from original list price to sales price. So time on market has a massive effect on getting the seller what they really want, which is the most money possible in the shortest amount of time. So if you're able to leverage that data and really give them that strategy and get them to believe in it, that's how we're able to have these launch weekends. We call them VIP launch weekends. And we create this entire frenzy of people coming through the home, getting excited about it, scared that they're going to lose out to another buyer because they see other buyers there. Just think about that concept. Like we said, you go see it on your own. It's quiet. It's cool. No one's there. Anything that we want. Think about the iPhone store. The reason you want an iPhone is because all the people are lined up outside the store going, it's really cool iPhone.
Right.
What they don't realize is they can make enough iPhones. They do limited edition to create that urgency, to create that fear of loss. So you're going, if I'm not one of the first 100, I'm going to have to wait for the next, maybe not the latest iPhones. Remember like when it was really cool when it came out? Yeah, right? It's like people wait in line overnight to get an iPhone. That's what we want to create and give that seller that same type of experience in doing that. And so that's the challenge is if you don't take a moment and you're spending 3 hours a day lead genning, but you're not spending the time making sure what you're selling is worth buying, an amazing offer, right? We call it an offer a seller can't say no to.
Yeah.
Then how much time are you tuning your product, right? Like again, think about if you sold Cadillacs. 50 years ago, a Cadillac was very different than what a Cadillac looks like now. I just saw the new Escalade. It's all electric. The thing is sick. Like, it ain't like the old Cadillacs. People are still using the same old classic listing mythology from 50 years ago. I come over, meet with you, you like me, hopefully you do. I tell you about a price, you tell me about a higher price. We decided somewhere in the middle. We decide to take pictures, put it on the market, hope and pray. Yep. That's been the model for a long time.
Yeah.
And so that's where agents get frustrated and they go, now I'm going to get to the compensation. Back to that 2.42% on average, right? Our agents in our listing fees program are getting minimum 3.5% on the list side, and some of them are getting 4.5 and 5. And because they built the value or just used our bolt-on one, you can also just use ours and run with it. But they now go, I've got something that's really valuable, that's different. Here's a funny way to think about it. The stationary bike. I think about this all the time, like the Nordic track bike, or, like in your gym, you have like the bike, the old school bike.
Yeah.
Think about it. The bike's been out forever. Stationary bike's been out forever. Peloton comes on the scene. Boom. Right? Everybody wants a Peloton. I don't know why. We do know why. They took a simple concept of a stationary bike, and what they do, they made it a little bit cooler. Mm-hmm. Right? And they made you want it, and they made it more expensive. So you felt like it was almost too expensive for you to be in the cool kids club.
I got a Peloton. Yep. In the pandemic in 2020, I was like,
Yes. Yes, right. And so many people did. And now you go riding a stationary bike, and no offense to people to do it, it's not fun. It sucks.
It's
So now you go down your basement, you look at that stationary bike, and you go, ugh, right? But think about that. That concept of the bike had been out forever.
Yeah.
Right. But if I get a Nordic track, am I as cool as the Pelotoners? Not really, right? Like Nordic track is cool. I have one. This is how I know, right? Like I have a Nordic track bike, and a Nordic track treadmill, and then I have the tonal that kind of
I have a tonal.
You have tonal? I love tonal. Coolest thing ever, right? Again, right? Innovative. Tonal took home gyms to another level. Then said LeBron likes it, so you should like it. And I was like, LeBron likes it. I like it. Yeah, let's go. Maybe I'll be able to play basketball like LeBron.
Yeah.
But it's still the same concept of it's a home gym, but they redefined how they're presenting it. So I hope they're listening. I hope that everyone's listening is going, you don't have to do something massively different. Peloton just shined it up, painted it, and made it like cool with classes. I don't know what else to say, right? And they weren't even the first to do that. They just did it better, right?
Yeah.
So we got to think about how are we packaging our program? If you were driving down at 60 miles an hour and saw it on a billboard, what would it be called? Because if you can't pitch it in an elevator pitch in 2 seconds, or like I said, here's the challenge to everyone listening. How many times in the last 7 days have you marketed your listing program on social media? And I guarantee you, Haley, if listeners are listening to this, very few will be like 10, 1.
Right.
I usually hear the big goose egg 0, and they're going, what do you mean market my listing program? I go, well, what's it called? And they go, it's called Brendan. And I go, okay, so you're marketing yourself. And they're going, yeah. And I go, well, then they need to believe in you or believe in the program that you provide and the problems that you solve. And then they go, well, I can solve their problems. And I go, cool, put it on a billboard. And then they go, Brendan is really communicative and helps you solve your problems and is a really cool guy. That's the difference of marketing, right? We could call the REDX this really cool thing that provides amazing data that helps keep agents organized to prospect at the highest level. That's amazing. And the founder's name was, and I don't know your founder's name, but I think I can remember, but let's just say Alex Smith is the founder of it. He didn't call it that. He called it the REDX. And look at the thing on the wall. Look how cool it looks. You would never really know what it means unless you actually knew what it meant. I know what it means, right? But like you wouldn't really know what it means, but it sounds cool.
Right.
And it's easy to remember. And you can put it on a t-shirt. And I'm the first one I'm guilty of this. I used to have this old school logo called the Bartic Group, right? Because for me, it was Brendan Bartic. It was the Bartic Group. And it had like a diamond, just like a little keyhole in the middle. And the Bartic was halfway cursive. It was ugly. It was so ugly. So imagine I was calling people up and I was like, hey, this is Brendan with the Bartic Group at blah, blah, blah real estate, da. Instead of being like, hey, this is Brendan, or sorry, not hey, but like, hi, my name is Brendan. I'm reaching out to you because, right, if it's an expired, because I know a lot of people do expireds here. I saw you came off the market yesterday, and we have Colorado's most innovative, I already did that script, Colorado's most innovative home selling program called Sold in 65. You tell them a few bits about it. I just need 15 minutes of your time. Would it be okay for me to stop by today at 4 or tomorrow at 3 to be able to explain this to you? Think about the pressure you take off yourself, right? So
I love that.
Haley's just like, Brendan, shut up. You talk too much. I just get excited I dork out about listing presentations, right?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Like the thing that I kept thinking of when you were saying this is like, honestly, especially when you're cold calling expireds for sale by owners and they don't even know who you are, like no one cares about who you are. Right. Because they don't know you. Maybe it's different when it comes to your sphere and you're like, hey, it's me. Like that's probably a lot easier if it's your sphere of influence and they know you. But if they don't know you, they don't care about you. They care about themselves and what you're going to do for them. And that's the whole point of products and marketing and everything is you need to give them something that solves their pain points. And it's not you, it is the program that you're selling. So I love that.
You're exactly right. I mean, and when you analyze this, when you start on the whiteboard and you go, what problems do I want to solve? Just like we were talking about, it's in every product, right? Peloton really solved, if you think about going back to the Peloton one, is it solved working out on a stationary bike by yourself. So they go, if we can bring community into it and coolness and little games, that's going to make it more motivate you to get your butt on the bike, right?
Right.
And so that's what they thought about. And they said, that's what's going to make that the difference. And then make it cool and market it the right way. So when we think about that, that's the problem they solved. They didn't solve the problem of getting people to do exercise. They solved the problem of exercise with community, with games, so it was fun, right? And that's a really big, important piece there. So for everyone that's out there is going, start thinking about what are the key seller points that I want to solve with my program. We've had everything from people that have a moving truck and they go, part of the problem I'm going to solve is I do a lot of city sales. And so I let them utilize my moving truck to move from apartment to apartment. And there's all these stipulations that go along with it, of course. But if U-Haul can do it, you can do it, right? And then they go, that's the problem I'm going to solve. And that's going to be part of my you sell with Sam package, right? Or whatever it is. And so they're building these pieces. Some people love staging. So they're going to build in, when you list with me, we come in. Some, like we said, kind of the Daytona 500, where we got this pit stop where we clean your house, we do the landscaping, we stage it, we do that. That's where you get into the 4.5%, 5.5%, 6.5% on just the list side compensation, because the seller's going, I got 4 kids. I don't want to box up anything. I don't want to declutter. I certainly don't want to go out there and pick weeds. If you can do it all in-house and organize it, 7% sounds like a dream to me. Why wouldn't I? And I think, Haley, people get limited beliefs that people will pay a lot of money for convenience and service. I think about everything. Think about Uber. Think about anything we pay. I mean, the last Uber I took was $240. And I go, wait, what? How?
Like DoorDash.
Oh my gosh, DoorDash. Such a wonderful thing. I'm like, $27 for a Big Mac sounds fair. I'm hungry and I want a Big Mac, right?
Right.
It's like, I'm going to do it. So we get into our minds, and I want to be very clear with everyone, is that you get into these limited beliefs that it won't work in my market. I hear agents sometimes they go, oh, no one would ever pay 2.5 in Brunson, Missouri. I've got agents in Brunson, Missouri, or Rochester, Minnesota, that are getting 3.5, 4.5 because it's exchange of strategy, program, and value for compensation.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to draw on that, and then we can kind of go where you want to go, but here's the biggest thing that we ran to that we have to get really, really clear on. Most of your listeners already realize that listings are the way to go. Mm-hmm. But we just put out a study on our Listing Beast website, and I went into deep research on this. It takes 29 hours for an agent to work with a buyer compared to 7 hours when you do a listing. So that's the first key piece, is 29 hours on average versus 7 hours. They measured all the Redfin agents, because Redfin's on payroll, and I hope Redfin agents are listening. Most of them are on payroll to some certain degree. So they could track this. Think about the disparity in that. That's 4 times as much work to work with one buyer than to one seller. Now, the second piece in that, then you go, well, great, I'm going to focus on sellers. Then I ask people, well, what do you generally charge for your compensation? They're like, well, here in the area, the average is like usually 3 or 2.5, and we split the other side with this, and we know all the NAR things and yada, 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 right? Everything's negotiable, disclosure. But when we look at that, we go, so I always ask them, I go, well, why not charge 4? And they go, well, the people won't pay. And I go, now you're talking. Now go to the whiteboard and figure out, you're asking the wrong question. Not why won't they pay? What do I need to improve so they will pay, right? Everybody's got watches. I've got a Cartier. You can have a Cartier watch, or you can have a Timex. Both tell the time. Both great watches. One is definitely more expensive than the other, right? It's like, but it's the same concept. Why did they get me to buy this one? Because ego, stupidity, I don't know. I want to be cool. I'm just joking, not me, I'm saying, but like, right, this was a gift from my wife, so I'm not going to talk smack, right? but right, like, why do you pay more for certain things that are very similar? Well, right. Perception, you said it earlier, Haley, perception of value, perception of that value. And I think that's a critical piece. So constantly challenge yourself. Where I was going with the per deal compensation and the hours worked as a buyer agent, well, if you think about this, we only get paid for our time. So when you're working as a buyer's agent, on average across the nation, and this still sounds like a lot of money, you make $320 on average. Okay. If you're at an average of $500,000 sales price, you make $320 an hour when you work with a buyer. When you're working with a seller, you're making $1,456 an hour. That's if you're just at the regular industry average. Well, our agents are making $2,600 an hour because they're getting 3.5% or more for every house that they sell. So with our Listing Beast members, so if you think about that number, I have 2 great things that can happen. either I don't have to sell as many houses to make the same amount of money, which is more time with my family, your baby, my friends, my terrible golf game, right? I can have more time to do what I care about and make the same amount of money, or I can make a stupid amount more. All because that 0.25%, 0.5%, or percent change in how much we make in our revenue. So value matters, strategy matters, the program that you deliver matters, and the amount that you are able to charge for it gets to be representative of that. If you're one of these agents that just doesn't want to do squat and put it on the MLS, take some pictures and hope somebody shows up, and then every 2 weeks ask Haley to drop her price and be like, sorry, the baby's going to have to keep getting out. I'm going to do an open house on Sunday for a couple hours because maybe some homeless people will walk in and eat my cookies, right? Like if you do that, that's not value. So you can't charge a lot for that, right? Haley's going to go, I can't even believe I'm paying 2% for this. I shouldn't even be paying at all. So you've got to make sure that when you're building this, you don't have to value stack it with so much you can't deliver on. If you're starting out new, think about strategy. And then when you get your strategy really good, think about adding on enhancements, right? Staging, cleaning, this, that, moving truck. But you don't have to start with that. The first thing you need to start with is going, I have a very innovative way to get people to create a frenzy on your home. And when we do that, your price goes up, you have less hassle. I just need 15 minutes of your time to explain it to you. Yeah. Just today at 4 workers, tomorrow at 1 better.
Yeah,
that's what I got.
And you don't have to be a seasoned professional. You could literally be a brand new agent. You don't have to be super outgoing, like you said, like a bunch of charisma to sell your product.
It's hard to sell yourself.
Yeah.
It really is. A lot of people are good at it. And I would say in this business, I would say when I say a lot of good, I said 5% people are good at selling themselves. They're like, I'm the best that's ever done it. I can sell harder, faster than anything like this. If you can sell a product, you can believe in that product, you can believe in the results that it provides, then you just go so all in. And just remember, all of us, when we first create our first product, we're hypothesizing that it's going to work. When they made the first light bulb, right? We were like, I hope that sucker turns on. Like everyone's here. I hope it works. So I want everyone to feel relaxed of going, don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. You don't have to have the Ferrari built the first day, right? Build the Nissan Sentra, start rocking Nissan Sentras, but know that you're selling a Nissan Sentra and then figure out going, okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to start selling, I don't know what's above a Nissan Sentra, Lexuses, I don't know, whatever it is, right? And so now I'm going to get a Lexus product. Maybe next year I'm going to start selling Mercedes. Then the next year I'm going to start selling Bentleys, right? Like think about it going, it never stops evolving. I've watched agents that still sell 30 houses a year. They're using the same listing presentation that they used 30 years ago.
Oof.
You know what? And the difference is they're making less now because now they're going, well, people don't seem to like it. You know, they're not as interested in it. So I've been negotiating a lot more on commission. And my client bought the house from me. Here's my favorite. My client bought the house from me. So they asked me if I would discount my commission. So I said, yes. And I go, why? And they go, well, you know, I just felt like it was a friendship thing and I had to do the right thing. And I go, so that means you don't believe that your strategy helps them do those 3 things. Because if you truly believe in your strategy, you would be so confident in charging what you charge because you know they're going to net more, have less headache, right? In the shortest amount of time. And that's what we're here to deliver.
Amen. Brendan, wow. Thank you so much. We're over time, but I just I love this. You're so great at speaking, but also just like share such good advice. So I appreciate every time.
No, thank you. I love coming on and like I said, if there's anything, as I said, REDX built my business, and I mean I can't say enough about it. And like I said, but think you got to block strategy time into your week. Your presentation is your engine. It's either going to put out 50 horsepower or 5,000. You get to decide.
I love it. Brendan, if people are interested in your program, where can they learn more?
Yeah, so listingbeast.com. We're also going to give you a free download with this episode that Haley will attach to somewhere, I'm assuming. And that's going to have the entire, not only our script book with all our rejection handlers, expired scripts, but it's actually going to have in there built this exact listing presentation script by script with pictures, so you know exactly how to do it. Now, to say know exactly how to do it, you'll understand how to do it. If you're looking to take this to the next level and really become a listing beast and have bigger checks and have a better database and have less headaches and all that, then just go to listingbeast.com. We have a free masterclass on there you can watch, or just book a call and we'll see if you're a good fit for the program. And if we are, we'll go to work and we'll get you to be one of the best listing beasts in the industry.
Amazing. I love it. We will have all of that information in the description for those that are interested. I would definitely check it out. We'll also have other podcasts that we've had with Brendan that you can learn more about all the stuff that he teaches and talks about. So, and of course, we'll have Brendan back on always because he's the best. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks again, Brendan, for sharing your expertise. And we will see everybody same time, same place next week. Bye-bye.